most editors don't know how to get paid $1,000 per video. And then even worse than that, those who do get $1,000 per video don't actually know how to keep their clients consistently, so then that way they can have a consistent income every single month of about 5K per month. So in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down the very secret that will get you to $1,000 per video. And in the box of proof here, in case you don't know who I am, my name is dannyrio. I've been an editor for about 5 years. I've worked with plenty of clients, plenty of which who have actually paid me over £1,000 or $1,000, $1,500 per video, which we can see over here. Obviously, I've blurred out their names for the sake of privacy, but you can see all of them are in reference to video editing. Now, on top of this, a lot of editors seem to have the issue where it's like, Danny, I've seen this before. I know that you can make this money, but the problem is I'm not in your niche, or, you know, I don't do this, or I'm from here, like all of these things. So on top of that, I've got some further proof to show you that I've not only just done this for myself, but I've helped so many other editors get to a point where they're charging thousands of dollars per video, right? A lot of people getting their first $1,000 video. So we can see, for example, here, Owen, when we started working together, he was at about $300 per video. Now he's at a point of charging $1,000 more than that. We see Omar, who's getting about $5,000 per video. Daniela, her first $1,000 video. Arturo's first $1,000 video. Ludwig getting to a point where he's at $1,000 to $1,500 per video from a client that who used to pay him a lot less money. So we can see that obviously he knows how to keep them. Brandon getting his first 1,000 video. I think this is Chris or Fringed getting $1,000 a video. And then we've got another client here. I forgot who this was at this point, getting their first $1,500 video. So I think that's enough for the proof. I've spent too much time. Now, let's get into the main juicy parts. What a lot of people don't seem to understand, I think, especially because they're very new to, I guess, the world of business in general, is that your business has two sides, which is why I've split up this entire board, this whiteboard, into two sides. We've got the front end, and then we've got the back end. The front end being, why should somebody hire you in the first place? This is where we're going to be talking about why should somebody hire you, more specifically, at $1,000 per video. And then once you're at a point where you've got the front end locked in, you're going to want to figure out how can we get somebody to keep paying you $1,000 per video. So then that way you can keep making this money from one client, and clients will usually give you between 2 to 5 videos per month, which will get you a consistent income of $2,000 to $5,000 a month. And that way you don't have to get new clients. And this is just from one person. So imagine, like, number one, charging more, like we've seen with so many of these other editors here, charging over $1,000 a video. And then also like getting more people, because if you've done that for one client, you can do that for multiple. And this is like the ultimate formula to getting to your, you know, 10K per month or 8K per month goal or 15K per month goal. Starting off with the front end, we're gonna be breaking this down into number one, what does this mean? Number two, okay, well, what makes a good front end for an editing business? And then third of all, how's this gonna work out for you specifically? So let's start off with the main problem here, right? Let's address the elephant in the room. You're a good editor, but nobody's hiring you and most of your DMs get ignored. Right? It's because people don't know you exist, or perhaps they just don't really trust you yet. So every business has two sides, and we're going to cover that today. Now, the front end is everything that happens before you get paid. The back end is everything that happens after you get paid, right? So we're going to be covering the before. What you want to think of this is like a shop. Now, the sign outside, the way that the window looks, being able to peep inside of the shop, and like if you've got like a little, I don't know what these are called, like the chalkboards, the blackboards, where, you know, you try to do a bit more marketing and advertising. And this is kind of like your Twitter portfolio, your Instagram, right? Whatever. This is the first thing that people see from you. And then once you understand how this works, you'll know exactly what's broken, right? You will no longer have to guess and think and ask other people. You'll just know. Well, if it's my Twitter, then how can I make this a good front end? Firstly, we need to think about, okay, what is it exactly that we want to get here? And we know what we want, right? We want clients, and we want clients at $1,000 per video. So we need to figure out what are the stages that a client goes through before hiring you at that point, okay, with your front end. So when you post your work on Twitter, people see it. Some of those people that see it are looking for an editor. All of them can tell if your work is good or bad, right? The better your work, the more views it gets. Now, the more views means the more people see you, right? This is how you go from the invisible to visible. So we have something that's called the 5 stages of awareness. We start off at unaware, so someone who doesn't know you exist, all the way to most aware, which is somebody who knows about you, what you do, how you can help them, but they just haven't bought from you just yet. So this can be clients that you've spoken to, like in DMs, but they just never bought from you. This can just be like people looking at your Twitter, but not actually hiring you just yet because they haven't made a decision. And then we've got all of this in between stuff that doesn't really matter because we'll learn how to like rush clients through that stage. And then we've got the second part of this, which is beliefs, which is like wanting to buy from you. So we have a new metric for this is kind of like temperature, right? So lead temperature. We have cold, which means like people who don't know you, warm leads who have seen your work and they're interested, hot, meaning they are ready to pay. To get somebody from cold to warm is super, super quick. You can just simply send them a DM and you can show them a problem on their channel, or you can just offer to fix it for free or not for free. That is going to take you from 0 to 80 very quickly. What you need to understand is that a good front end will both get a lot of attention, so make a lot of people aware, and then also build trust really fast. So now this would mean, essentially, a good front end would mean a lot of people see what you do, and out of those a lot of people, you get a few people who actually do want to buy from you. As simple as that. A bad front end either does one of those things or none of them. One of those things is something like getting a lot of impressions on Twitter. A lot of editors are very proud and happy that they can get a lot of impressions and a lot of views in their tweets, but what does that do if you're still broke, essentially, right? If things aren't changing for you, why does that matter? You're not getting clients, you're not getting high-paying clients furthermore. So let's look at your front end. As a video editor, you have three main factors that build both awareness and trust in your front end. That is a social media platform, like your Twitter or your Instagram. Then we have a website, which is your portfolio, or if you're an agency, then like a landing page. And then we have your motion graphics, which you might think is a bit of a weird one, but I'll explain. So starting off with social media, again, this is your so-called personal brand, right? This is where people are going to find you. And the more you post is the more people that are going to see you. The more you connect with other editors, creators, managers, the further your posts will reach, right? So it's kind of like when you're starting at the beginning, you need to follow people and you need to interact with their stuff. Be like the reply guy. That is just going to get you through the door. That's going to build a bit of awareness. And then after that, your momentum's starting to build and your tweets are going to get pushed out more and more once your replies are also getting a lot of interactions. So you want to start off with, replying to some tweets, getting some likes or views or replies or whatever kind of engagement on your replies. Then that is going to help build your momentum for any tweet that you do make. And then that's going to like flywheel and then build furthermore. And then that's going to grow your brand, which is good. This is how you gain awareness. Now, for those of you who already have like a couple hundred followers on Twitter, let's say between the point of 400 to about 2,000 followers on Twitter. Well, this is not really going to help you too much, right? We need to focus on the trust building of things. So how to build trust mostly is just building or posting your work, and then posting breakdowns or workflow around your work. So anything to do with your work. And then finally is like lessons from your work. So you want to think of it like this. What is the absolute like most valuable thing that clients want? Is like a reliable editor. So then how can you make them believe that you are a reliable editor? Well, it's number one, the biggest proof you can have is just your work. And I say this a lot, but if you don't believe me, look at a guy like Alex Mosey, right? He says this a lot where it's just like the biggest proof in, I think he says the pudding, is just like what you do. Like they're gonna look at you. So if you're somebody who tweets a lot, I don't know how much a lot is, but let's just say you tweet a lot. But not a lot of that is work or good work. And good work will be in relation to whatever your ICP or your dream client is thinking. So let's pick like Iman Gadzi. Let's say you want to work with Iman Gadzi. If Iman Gadzi for some reason is scrolling on Twitter and he's seeing editors and he's looking to hire an editor and he sees your tweets, he is now aware of you. But if he can't see work that he likes, you have not built trust and you have not built belief. So he knows about your existence, but he doesn't care to work with you, which doesn't really matter at the end of the day. The biggest proof you can have is just your work. And then to, build more evergreen and more just, consistent content to get more awareness whilst not having to edit more videos is to post things around your work. So I used to say a lot of the time, like, just post your work or your best work or whatever. And that's great. But not a lot of the time you're going to have good work to post because either you're not getting clients at the moment or you just didn't really perform too well, or you didn't post anything, you didn't make anything interesting in your last client work, which means you need to start posting things around your best work, right? So again, lessons. Can they learn something from your editing? Can they see your competence within the way that you speak or talk about your work? If you break it down, is it like fucking insane? Like a lot of people will post their timelines. Like I see editors who get clients because of the timelines that they post. So if you've got like an insane timeline, that can probably get you like 10K views or something. And then from those 10K views, you can probably get like 2 or 3 qualified leads. And by qualified leads, I mean people who are willing to pay you over $1,000 a video. This is going to build a lot of trust and belief, along with, of course, a lot of awareness. But we're mostly focusing on this two stuff. After that, you're going to funnel them obviously to a website, a portfolio. And this is where your clients go to visit when they're just like looking around, right? Perhaps they're at the point of product aware, right? Solution or product aware. They'll be somewhere around here. So they're already jumping pretty quickly just by looking at your portfolio. But obviously, this is where the hard part is getting them to actually talk to us and become clients. So this is where, if done right, of course, right? It's not just about doing anything. It's about if you do it right, you can get good clients. So most editors fail here because either they just don't have enough work or convincing work to show, or they just don't have anything unique about them. And the reason that matters is because when you work in a team of people, a lot of the times you're going to be dealt with the task of dealing with judgment calls. So judgment calls being like, you need to think on your feet. And if you look like every other editor in the market, you don't really provide anything special, which is especially dangerous if you're trying to work with people who are willing to pay you a lot of money. Because to anyone, $1,000 of videos, like especially business owners, like a lot of people think business owners have money, therefore they're going to pay you a lot of money. But it is a lot of money to pay a video editor $1,000 a video, and you need to understand that. I think a lot of people just throw it around like it's nothing, but it is a lot of money. Imagine if you paid $1,000 for somebody to edit a video. You'd be fucking stingy. You'd be like, this better be done right. So by not having something unique, it just shows like you won't be able to make the video valuable enough or good enough for them to think, okay, he can do this if he worked with me. So I was speaking to an editor and he's solid. He's pretty decent at what he does. But the problem is his portfolio has like a bunch of clients, like a bunch of videos from the same clients, which is cool and great. But you know, if a video is good, or if all of his videos are good, but one of them are bad, and one of them being from like another client that he's worked with, it's going to show that it's not you that was good. You weren't good at editing this video. Perhaps you worked with other people who made this video good, or perhaps the people who gave you revisions were good, but not you. If you can show like different videos from different clients, but they're all good, like genuinely all exceptionally well, and they all have like a good baseline of quality, that is building a lot of trust, and that is very unique. Okay, and then finally, it's just you just don't have enough traffic being sent to them, right? So perhaps like you're pretty decent at editing, but there's not a lot of people that are viewing it every single month, right? You need to have, I don't know how many you need to have, to be honest. Like I haven't really tracked that, but I am learning. But you just essentially need to have like more people being pushed to it. Like if you have, again, less than like 100 followers on Twitter, you are going to struggle. Algorithmically, you are going to struggle. You need to have more. You need to have more people within like the market looking at you, following you. And this will be editors. When you're starting out posting, the first people that are going to like interact with you is other editors. So if you can impress other editors, then they will follow you for, because they want to get inspiration. And then after that, once they start interacting with your work, it gets pushed out to clients and, friends of clients and stuff like that. High volume of traffic needs to go to your portfolio. So make sure that your website is unique to your competitors. It's not salesy or overpromising. And this is a big time problem where a lot of editors promise the world, but if you talk more than you do, that shows. And then ultimately, like people just know to avoid that, right? Anybody who's too salesy, it's like an obvious thing where people are like, oh, I'm just not going to work with this guy. Perhaps it will work at, volume, but again, it's like we're focusing on quality here. We want to make sure that like the person that we want to work with, paying $1,000 plus per video, wants to work with us. And if someone can afford $1,000 per video, they are smart enough to read through your bullshit. Like if you have a lot of writing on your website or portfolio or whatever, written by ChatGPT, they will know. If you think they don't know, they will know. Make sure you post your work and make sure you're actually posting testimonials that build trust. And with testimonials, this one's a tricky one because a lot of people are like, well, I have testimonials, but I don't get clients. Well, it's like, yeah, but your testimonials are like one guy saying, good video. Oh, this is something a lot of people don't fucking realize. Okay, think of it this way. If you want to land somebody for like, let's say $1,000 a video, then they are very experienced in the hiring process or working with editors. They know what it's like to work with editors, meaning they used to work with editors at $200 a video or $300 or $50 a video. And if they've done that, they know how to treat editors at that level. So if they can see a testimonial on your website that says, yeah, look, good job. like the video man, good work, something very basic like that, then they will know what that means. It doesn't actually mean good work. It's like pity good work, right? Because, some like YouTube strategist guru told them like, just support your editor. Like Ali Abdaal always says like, always try to gas up your editors, or I don't know how I'm paraphrasing, but he says like, treat your editors nicely, compliment them. They need this for their, self-esteem or whatever. So say good work, say you did a good job, say whatever. If someone actually likes your work, they will go out of their way to create a proper testimonial. Oh, so-and-so is this. So-and-so is so good. He posts this and that, and he's like, whatever. They'll glaze the shit out of you, right? They will tweet it. I've seen editors who get tweeted about because they're that good. So if they can see your testimonial, they can see that good work is just petty bullshit. That's not building trust. That's not building belief. Building belief is when somebody goes out of their way to say something unique or something so insane about you, because then that'll make them think, oh, I've never actually seen an editor being said about that. Or furthermore, if they've worked with another editor who is so good, they know the exact words they would use to describe a good editor. Like they can tell because of another, the same experience they've had with another creator. It's like, oh, that sounds exactly like something I would say if I thought that editor was very good at his job. If someone says, Danny is one of the most hardworking and passionate people about editing that I know. When we had any issue with recording, I had full trust that Danny could turn the video into something awesome. Imagine one of your clients said this about you as a testimonial. If I am a client, for some reason, in this case, $1,000 per video client, and I'm willing to pay that much, and I worked with another editor, and I said this exact same thing about him, I'd be like, oh wait, this sounds like something in the back of their mind. They'd be thinking, these are like my words. I would totally say this about an editor if I thought he was very good. In fact, my last editor was so good that I said the exact same thing about him. Oh, I know this is a good testimonial. I know that whatever client this is, he's spitting facts. He's actually very truthful and passionate about working with Danny. Danny's a good editor. I'm going to work with Danny. Somebody saying good job, I liked it. That means fuck all, bro. That means literally nothing. Anyone can say that about anyone. That doesn't mean anything. So this testimonial can build that amount of belief and trust. This kind of testimonial can build fucking that much, big fuck of oh my God, I need to hire him now kind of testimonial. So you need to actually show stuff where people are like, oh my God, this gets results. Oh my God, this guy's good. So it's not about having testimonials. You need to think about does the client I want to work with actually believe in this shit? Does he actually think that this makes me look good? Because again, this is all about getting them to DM you. Our whole goal here is just to get them to contact you. That's what matters when it comes to your portfolio. Next up is the motion graphics. Now, your motion graphics are the first thing that a client will judge because it's the easiest thing to tell if it's good or bad. You don't need to be an editor to look at motion graphics and tell if they're clean or not, or if they're good or not. Everybody can see it. Viewers can see it. It's like your mom, your dad, your dog could tell if someone's motion graphics are good just from one frame. So if they think your motion graphics are good, people are going to assume everything else is good as well. They're going to assume your storytelling is good. They're going to assume your sound design is good. They're going to assume your communication is good because you just put that much effort into your work. This is called the halo effect. Meaning, if this person can do this very well, it means they can do everything else very well. Or furthermore, if they can edit very well, then it probably means they've been doing this for a long, long time. And if they've been doing it for a long, long time, then they probably know how to do everything. This is experience. This is reflection and experience. And here's the good thing is that you don't need to be very experienced to have good motion graphics. You don't have to go through years and years and years of training and practicing in order to build trust with clients. You just need to do the right thing. Because think about it, every editor spends a certain amount of time on a video, a couple hours on the motion graphics. So it's not about other editors are spending more time than you. They're spending the same amount of time. They're just doing the right things. You're just doing the wrong things. And that is reflective in experience. Again, it doesn't have to be. You can just find out what worked and then do that. Simply put, I know it sounds really simple, but it really is just that simple. And then that's going to reflect in everything else. They're going to think, okay, he must be good at everything else if he can do motion graphics very well. But if your motion graphics are weak, then it'll work the other way. If I look at motion graphics and I'm thinking just from one frame, again, people can judge just from one frame. Well, this isn't very good. And if I think this isn't very good, then his storytelling is not very good. His sound design isn't very good. His communication isn't very good. He will probably pester me. I'll probably hate working with him just from one frame. all of these assumptions come from one frame of your motion graphics. And here's the thing, because this is marketing, people. This is not about what's true. You probably think that you're great to work with. You're a bundle of joy. Everybody loves working with you because you're such a great guy. But it doesn't fucking matter what you think. It matters what they think. It's just from the assumptions that they build up in their head. Because again, this is what marketing is. So to get them from a point of buying, from not buying to buying, you have to do this. It's the one thing that tells a client everything they need to know about you before they've spoken to you. And this is called the eye test. So for example, we have a client who's looked at 2 different editors. This is the same guy, let's just say. He goes on Twitter, he looks for editors, and then he finds editor number 1. And he's like, okay, well, this isn't very good because there's multiple different art styles. This guy's using a lot of PNGs, which looks really low quality. I don't use PNGs, right? I do hard motion design, vectored work. And overall, I don't really like this, which is number 1. Or we can go to like editor number 2, where he goes, oh, wow, this is very good. This is the exact kind of editing that I want done in my video. Or maybe not even that. Like if you're in the right niche, or if you're in just one niche, you're posting the same kind of work and it's done very well, they will think that. Or perhaps they'll just look at it, they'll think, that's so good. I have no doubt that he can also work in my niche. Because that's happened. Like a lot of people go from like gaming to IRL, or IRL to gaming, or, you know, talking head to IRL, or vice versa, just because it's good enough where they think enough belief has been built where they think, oh, this editor in a different niche can totally work in my niche because his skills show it. So he's going to win the eye test, and then he gets the DM. Not this guy, he gets the DM. So then by this point, you would have gone through the entire front-end process to just simply build belief. Nurture these clients, build belief, focus on what makes a good video. Like this is going to sound really basic, but you need to hear me out. Focus on what makes a good video. And then once that's been figured out, you just rinse and repeat that for the front-end marketing. Okay, everybody can see your stuff, and that's great. Like you can have all the Twitter views in the world that you want, but like views don't pay. Impressions don't pay. It's all about like building the belief where people think that they can actually work with you. So then after that, after the front end is sorted, we need to move over to the back end, because by this point you would have landed your first client at $1,000 a video. Now you just need to figure out, okay, how can I get them to just keep paying me? And then how can I get more people like him to keep paying me? So again, this is going to be split up into what is the back end, what makes a good back end, and your back end as a video editor. Problem is that you can get clients, you can get them to message you, but you just can't get them to keep working with you. Or perhaps, you know, you've been talking to them, they agree on the price, and then a few days later, they just fizzle away. What happened to him? We were talking, and now he doesn't want to work with me anymore. What is going on? He's not responding. What the fuck is going on? Well, that's because the back end of your business is broken. So let's think of the restaurant again. The front end got them through the door. Now, the back end is just about the food, the service, the experience. How is your waiter presented? How does your waiter treat you? Like, how is the food? Is the food quick? Is the food good? Is the food worth the money? Stuff like that. And if it's not good, they don't come back. And this will especially matter at the beginning of the relationship. You can afford to take hits later down the line once you've worked with them for a few videos because they've gotten used to working with you. Simple as that. Once you fix this, clients will stay, they'll pay you more over time. And then on top of that, they're going to tell their friends about you. And you will no longer have to outreach or chase new clients because the ones you've already worked with are just going to have, number one, more work, and number two, more friends to tell them about you. So this is what it's kind of going to look like. If you're constantly chasing clients, your motivation is going to go down. The ease of things are going to go down. Like, I know a guy who got to like $700 per video, and because of one guy that he did wrong, one person, he went from a point of making like 4K a month to zero very fast, okay? Because, you know, he couldn't deliver, he couldn't build that goodwill, and he couldn't get referrals, he couldn't keep his clients, so it just went down. Whereas, if you learn to do this right, they are going to keep paying you, and you just won't have to do as much like marketing anymore. People will tell their friends about you. And here's another thing, is that the more niche or the higher paying your clients get, the easier this is. So at the $1,000 mark, this will be easy, but not the easiest. When you're at like the $5,000 mark per video, this will be much easier, right? Because there's like a niche group of people in this niche or in their circle that they can actually refer you to. So what we want to do is we want to have a flywheel. Now, a flywheel is like a self-preserving or self-sustaining system where you don't really have to do any of the work. The work, it just does it for you. So number one, get results for your clients. Just do a genuinely proper job. And this can't be based off of what you think, because a lot of people think they get client results, but they don't. So you have to talk to your clients. Like literally, it's scary, but you have to talk to your clients, see what they think of you. Because again, these are the people that you're trying to please here. These are the people you're trying to close. You just get this feedback, and then you can use that feedback to build more. So then once you get these results, they're going to give you consistent work. And the more work they give you, the more data you can go off of, right? They're going to start to rely on you. And then after a while, they're going to just think, my life is so easy now that I've got this editor. Isn't he just the best? And then their friends are going to ask about it. They're going to be like, hey, I'm looking for an editor. Do you know anyone? He's going to be like, fuck yeah, I know a guy. And here's the thing. They want to refer you. You think that they don't want to refer you. They want to refer you. Okay? And the reason is because once you refer a good editor or just good whatever to another person, you build goodwill with that like other friend. So for example, I have friends who are like marketing agency owners, right? I have friends who are business owners and talking head. They're looking for talking head editors all the time. Now, immediately, the first people I'm going to refer to is either my friends who are talking head editors and obviously looking for work. And then number two, I'm going to refer anyone who's an experienced client of mine who I've been working with for a while. I've been teaching them enough and they've got good service delivery. So I won't refer them to literally just anyone, because the reason that matters is because I want my friends to like me even more and help me even more. The best way that I can do that is by giving them the best editors. If I don't know anyone, or if there's genuinely nobody who I think could fill out that job for them, I just won't refer them. I just won't refer anyone. I'll say, sorry, I don't know anybody. Because that is much better than giving them a shit editor. Because I give them a shit editor, they're going to think less of me. And I don't want them to think less of me. So your clients are thinking the same way. When, let's say they are paying you a lot of money and they love what you're doing. And if their friend who can help them out with YouTube or business or whatever, if their friend is looking for an editor, they're gonna like pop their collar. They're gonna be like, yeah, I know a guy. I know a guy. I've got the best editor in the world. Yep. I know a guy. Here's his Twitter. Then his friend messages you. You close his friend. Everyone's happy. If you don't get referred, it's just that you're not doing a good enough job. Once that's done, is that you have money, new clients, zero outreach. Bang! It is possible. You don't have to actually send outreach messages if people are just doing the work for you. And like, again, most of that belief and awareness building is 90% done from referrals in one message. Your client messaging their friend does 90% of the work for you. It's just that you have to close them now. But, you know, to get somebody from scratch, you have to start with the whole front end thing, and then, you know, yada, yada, yada. You're going to have to make sure that you get more posts out there. You're going to have to make sure they follow you for longer and they like your work, and you have to work on your video editing more and more and more. But referrals, that is all for you, right? Which is why, by the way, it's a make sure you have a good network of editors around you. Don't just go to your friends or people that you like because you guys joke around, or especially don't associate yourself with editors who laze about or are constantly changing their mind about things, or just overall, they're not doing a service to just anybody. Like if you're friends with an editor who just doesn't service his clients well and they're just totally shit at what they do, don't ever refer them to anything. And then also don't expect them to refer you to anything, because they're not going to have any clients of their own. How the fuck are they going to have like an abundance of clients, right? You want to make sure that you associate yourself with people who actually care about editing, who actually want to deliver for their clients, because that makes things so much easier. That is the back end. So now we need to think about what makes a good back end. Well, a good back end means that you have a repeatable way of getting your clients results, not just once, but you can do it every single time. And when you can do that consistently, then there are 3 things that are going to start happening by themselves without you having to do anything. Number 1, you start getting more work from the same clients. You deliver well, client gives you more, right? More videos, more responsibility, more money, right? And you don't even have to ask, they just offer it because you've made their life easier. You gave them value. And then number 2 is referrals. We've gone over this. They will start to talk about you to their friends. And then, you know, these are going to be the easiest clients to land because they will trust you from association. And then number 3, inbounds from your work, right? You post more, other creators see it, especially, by the way, if your client follows you on Twitter. Quick tip, if you landed your client from Twitter and they like what you do and your client follows you on Twitter, this is going to push to their friends. If your client doesn't follow you on Twitter, this won't be so easy. That's essentially it. So then how can we get this done for you? How can we make sure that this works out for you as well? Well, your backend is built on 3 variables, 3 core variables: time, quality, and clarity. It's as simple as that. So we're going to make sure that you can do all of this in as little time as possible and to build as much trust and belief with leads as possible. So number one, when it comes to time, you want to think about how fast can you learn their style? How fast can you reply to messages? How fast can you turn around revisions? I've worked with people longer because they got videos done faster than other editors. And I'm just speaking now from a client point of view. But also as an editor point of view, this, I can promise this for sure matters. I think time is the most important part. And then more importantly, how quickly can you close the gap from lots of revisions to 0 revisions? Story time. I had a client who I closed, and I used to watch this guy. I love this guy's content back in like 2021. I got referred to him by another editor. And this other editor was him and some other guy. So there's 2 editors working for this client. And then I was going to be the 3rd one. I did the first video and he fucking hated it. He didn't tell me, but I was watching his reaction on Discord. And I can tell he feels like he was robbed of like $200, and he was livid. But he knew how to deal with me at the time. And then we went to round 2. He said, "Okay, I need you to change this, this, and that." And then the second one came in, and he loved it. The guy glazed me like I was LeBron or something. Genuinely, I've never seen this much glaze from a client in my life at this point. And because I managed to change the whole thing around within one video, it showed, holy shit, this guy can get things done fast. He can listen fast. He can learn fast. He can adapt fast. And then more importantly, he can listen to instructions. Most editors can't. And he thought, oh my God, you are the best. Don't tell the other guys, but you are actually my best editor ever. Okay? You went from the bottom to the top very quickly. So I dropped him. I dropped him because I just needed to focus on school. And I was very early into my editing career. And he begged me to stay. He offered me double the money. He said, you can take twice as long. Please, please stick around. And I said no. But the point is, just from that turnaround, from one round, he could see that like I could listen, I could do things quickly, I could do things properly quickly. Quality, time, and clarity. I had all of those things. My first draft wasn't good. Make sure yours is. Because if you're not, your second one needs to be perfect, which is exactly what I got done. Not to brag, but just as an example. Does the client have, to send it back 3 times? Do they have to go through like 4 revision rounds? So this is another thing, is like, nobody thinks about the revision rounds. Clients and editors don't think about the revision rounds. The clients do, but they never know how long it's going to take. So if the video takes like 2 days, let's hope that the revision round doesn't, all of the revision rounds take longer than 2 days. Like that shit should be done ASAP. If the video takes like 7 days, well then, 2 or 3 days of revisions, it's not going to be that bad. So you want to think in ratio to original video and final tweaks. How long am I taking? How well can I adapt? How well can I do it? Like one of my students, Mohammed, he used to be terrible with client communication and revision, like adapting to revisions. Now, all of his clients love his work. And one of them think he's like one of the top guys because he takes like no notes. He needs no notes. He just gets it done. And they give him all the work. Whenever they're starting a new project or a new video or a new channel, they just go straight to him. So quality goes beyond just the video. It also goes towards your messages, your updates. Because if they don't know what you're saying, oh, well, that's a big problem. Communication is very important. Everything you send should make them feel like they're working with a professional, right? That builds crazy trust. If they feel like you don't understand the operations of a regular business, oh, it's gonna fucking suck. That's why everyone says like, you need to know about this. You need to know about that. You need to know about my niche in specific. You need to know, like, if you're working as a talking head editor and you're trying to work with business owners, you need to understand the ins and outs of their business and why that stuff matters. They're gonna rest easy at night knowing their editor is competent and they know what they're doing. And then finally is clarity. Now, most editors don't ask questions because they are scared. Clarity just means that you understand how the workflow works, what the client expects, and what your job actually is. If you don't know everything from pricing to delivery to like the whole system to what they want, the style they want, if you don't know the ins and outs of it, ask. They would much rather you ask because that they start gaining like crazy belief in you. Don't be a prick. Don't like hold your ego. Ask. Don't be scared. Okay, they would be very happy to answer. And if you have a lot of clarity throughout the working conditions, then it means that you've asked the right questions. Now, when all 3 of these are strong, clarity, quality, and time, then you can become the editor that nobody wants to lose, right? You do things fast, you operate in a clean workflow, and everything you do and say is clear. That is what makes clients stay. That is what makes them pay more. And that is what makes them tell others about you. especially this last part, because client acquisition, I think in my opinion, is the biggest pain in the ass. I hate outreaching. I've always hated outreaching. 30% of the clients that I've worked with came from referrals. Like 30% came from inbound or 30% came from referrals. A very small portion of it came from outreach, because the best like client acquisition process is the one where you have to do fucking nothing. All you really have to do is just be good at your job, which is fun. It's easy. It's not as like hard as you think it is. And overall, everybody wins. So if you've kind of watched throughout this entire video, then I'm hoping that you know why you need both of these sides. If you don't, well, let's go into that, right? So the front end is what's going to get you noticed. The back end is what's going to get them to keep working with you. You need both of these things in check in order to charge $1,000 per video and keep them at $1,000 per video plus. If your back end is strong, but your front end is weak, you will do amazing work, but nobody will ever see it. You're going to be the absolute best editor that nobody knows about. And this is a big struggle that a lot of editors have, because editors don't really market themselves too much. And that's why there's no really like main figurehead. I guess like apart from Hayden Hillier-Smith, there's not really like a main figurehead for video editing. And this happened to Chris. This was a big problem with Chris, is that he was practicing his editing for months when we started out working together. He didn't post any public change, and I asked him, why haven't you posted? And he was like, well, I'm pretty good at doing between 3 and 4K because I've been doing 800 for a long time, and I'm very grateful for making 3 to 4K. And I said, look, I understand, but I've seen I've seen many editors do this before. I look at your work and I think you're doing about 6 to 8K. And he was like, oh, fuck, I should be doing better. And I was like, again, I'm telling you, you're very good. You just need to put yourself out there. And then he did. He posted his work, he started marketing, and he got 2 inbound clients, and now he's at 7.5K per month. All of his clients love him. So he had the back end settled. He knew how to get results, and he knew how to get like crazy good results for his clients. It's just that he wasn't marketing himself, so nobody knew about him. Nobody knew about this hidden gem that was in like the pool of messy editors. And then also, like, if you have like a good front end but not a good back end, well then you can probably get a few clients that pay you a decent amount, but now you just have to keep outreaching and keep getting new clients, which nobody really wants to do. Like, it's a race to your grave at this point. So you never want to like chase new clients. You just want to work with a few that pay you a decent amount. And this happened to Akros. Very talented editor. Like on paper, very talented. When people started finding out about him, oh my God, he got so many inbounds, so many people paying him a lot of money, but he just didn't know how to make good videos. He truly didn't know how to like deliver for them properly. He didn't really have a lot of motion graphic issues, but he had a lot of problems with his backend. So clients didn't really treat him with enough respect to give him more work and to trust him with more work at a consistent rate. So they just dropped him or stopped working with him, or they would come to him like every few months. Now he's got multiple clients giving him almost too many videos because, you know, he's like, all right, everyone calm the fuck down. Like, there's only one of me and there's only so many of you. I can only take so many of you. So now he went from like working with clients who'd pay him like $400 a video to clients paying him like $2,000 to $3,000 per video consistently, right? So again, both of these guys went from making less than 1K per month to making way over 1K per video. And this is like the biggest determining factor for making more money as an editor without losing your mind, without having to constantly chase clients, and being able to actually travel, rest, take breaks, and just fucking live a good life. So if you want to have the same results like both of these guys, when you want to get to a point of making $1,000 per video and without having to fall underneath or plateau and having consistent income, then number one, implement this entire process. Make sure that you have both of your front end and back end sorted. If you think that's a lot of work and you just want to get it done quickly, you want to get it done fast, and you want to get to this point where you're charging $1,000 per video in a couple weeks, then all you have to do is go down below, click the first link, and you can book a call with me where one-to-one we can find out what your problems are and which of these two have an issue. Then I'll show you how you can implement my systems for both the backend and the front end, depending on whatever your problem is. I'll show you how we can implement that system for you. So let's say you're somebody who can't get clients to pay you consistently. Well, then I'll show you how we'll do that for you. And then that way, you know, you won't have to worry about more clients. So simple as that. If you click the link below, then you can go to a page where you can book a call with me. And then on this call, you and I are going to talk a bit more about your editing situation and see if I can help you out. And if I can, well then great. If not, we'll be on our merry way. Either way, I'll see you in the next video.